the greater power is within. Okay. And that's really how we begin to change our lives. I'm going to ask Conrad to formally introduce Ernest. So Conrad, take it over, Ernest. We're so glad to have you here.
Ernest is the former guild president of Bukalasa Agriculture College. He also is the current district youth chairperson, Abim district in Uganda, in the northern part of Uganda. Ernest is also the current people power coordinator, Karamoja subregion. He is also an agriculturist majoring in horticulture. Ernest is also the executive board member of Happy Adolescence Initiative. We welcome Ernest. Ernest, you're so most welcome, and you take up the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stan and Conrad, for giving me this opportunity to share my story with everyone on this platform and the world, and those who are going to find my story fitting with their circumstances. I pray that it will inspire and send a message to someone somewhere. That is my hope and prayer. Ladies and gentlemen, as they have introduced, my name is Ernest. I will not add much to the introduction that has been said. It was elaborate enough. I will start off today's presentation with the story of my life. I was born in a family of two. I'm the firstborn of my family, and I come from Karamoja subregion in Uganda. Is the Karamoja is the poorest subregion in my country, Uganda. Growing up as a young child, I went to a rural school, and my name was formerly not Ernest. My name was Odukan Ernest. And what I'm going to share today is in line with why I changed my name. My name was Odukan Ernest, but when I was growing up, I grew up with kids who would laugh at my first name, Odukan. And therefore I went home and told mom, they are laughing at my name, which other name can I use? And then my mom told me, you can use your second grandfather's name, and that was Ayen. That is how I got my name Ayen in place for Odukan. So growing up as a young child, I got a lot of programming in terms of low self-esteem imposed on me by my colleagues who were around me. Basically on how I look, first of all. When I was growing up, most of the children who used to tell me that I look like a monkey. So that used to affect me so much as a young man. And going to school was a challenge. Even when other students are having interactions and they go into arguments, I couldn't argue because I was about to hear that word, I look like a monkey. So I feared it so much. I would limit myself from interactions that would take me to pull ropes with my colleagues so that I avoid that. So when I went to school, Sisto was more brighter than me. Sisto is our second born. They termed it that he was more brighter than me. So when I was in school, he would always be first in class, while I would be 10th or 11th or 12th in class. So whenever I would come back home, they would tell me, that one is not good. It is the brother who is an A student in class. So for him, we don't care so much about him in terms of education. So he's the dumb brother, as Les Brown said in his video. So all that affected my mindset when I was growing up. So when I reached secondary, I was in senior 1, senior 2. I did not perform very well in mathematics, and therefore my friends that I graduated with from P7 to secondary even knew that I was not very good in mathematics. So when we reached secondary, I was in a school called Teso College, Alawit in Soroti district. So I remember this particular day when one of my colleagues that we had sat with P7 in the same school came and told me, Ernest, you know what? Our teacher told us physics is 60% mathematics and 40% other theoretical questions not related to mathematics. But he was trying to imply that you are not going to manage it since there is a lot of mathematics involved in it. And he was trying to tell me that for him, since he was very good in mathematics, that is what he would take on. So with the poor programming of how I looked in school and what I was not good at, it really touched my heart, and I knew that I was not good at anything. I began to doubt if I would make it really in education. I began to doubt myself if I was in the right path. By that time, when I was a young boy, I loved football so much. I started thinking if I would play for Manchester United, since education is not getting my way. So I used to love Evra so much. In all the textbooks that they bought for me, I decided to draw Evra just to keep reminding me that I'm going to be a footballer. So whenever time for classes end, I would rush into the field so that I can now go for my real activity, because that was not a laughing point for me. I took it very seriously. So whenever it was Saturday and people are having matches to watch, I would always be on the first seats to see that I get the skills, because I know after school, I must go for my sports that I knew maybe that my future was in. So when I reached senior 3, senior 4, the noise was getting louder in me. The noise from outside was getting louder in me. Still other people reminded me of how I look. Still other people reminded me of how I'm not performing well in class. And therefore, it made me feel a lot of low self-esteem in me. But I thought in me, what is that thing that I can do that will shift people's attention from how I perform and how I look into something else? So I decided to be the bad guy in school. I decided to be the guy who organizes strikes, the guy who organizes those funny things and commanding the bad cliques in school. So I remember we had the orchard. So I would first check when the askaris are harvesting oranges and they're heaping them in the garden. I always rush there to check, and then in the evening I come and organize my boys to raid the orchard. And I was very influential in that area. So I discovered, I think this is my area of strength, and therefore I became so good in it. So when I reached my senior 4, I still, that sound was becoming louder. I was moving from the best class to the second worst best class. And by the time I reached my senior 4, I was in the worst class. So, and therefore it confirmed to me that in fact, education is not my way. So I think I'm in the right way of causing chaos and the rest of the things. So in second term towards mocks, there were issues in school. The services were very poor, and therefore I decided to mobilize the students to go for a strike. I was very young by that time. I think I was 17 years old. I decided to mobilize from senior 3, senior 4, senior 5, and senior 6. And they all joined for the strike. While everyone was sad that they are going to suspend me for after causing a strike, I was very happy that they are going to take me home so that I can pursue my real dreams of playing football and becoming a professional footballer. So I was expelled from the school, and I joined another school for senior 3 and senior 4 that was now in Kampala. So when I joined in Kampala, that was now a mixed school. I was not used to life in a mixed school because from a semi-single-sex school in primary, I went to a single-sex school in my part of my O level, and then I went to a purely mixed school in that second shift of my O level. So that transition was very hard for me because with Teso College as boys, that time we did not mind so much on how we look because there were no female students. It was only the boys that were in that school. So we did not mind so much how we look. So when I went to this other mixed school, students would wake up so much early to iron clothes and look smart. While with me, it was still to transform from that lousy life into a more serious, smart, and decent type of life. So my first day in class, it was so funny. I was very shabby. I put on very huge shoes. I put on very light trousers and a very big shirt, not ironed, and everyone was laughing at me. So still it was ringing in me that I think I'm losing it in this field. But one of my friends reminded me that Ernest reminded me very politely that I want to sponsor you to reduce your shirt, reduce your trouser, and then maybe next time you should fix for a new shoe. And then I decided to maneuver around and got some money that I had and bought new things. The next week I was a smart student in class. But still, that aspect of how I look and the low self-esteem still held me down because I was in a single-sex school. I was minding of how much I look and how now the girls look at me in class. Do they still look at me as that boy who people say they looked like a monkey and the rest of the things, or something has changed? And I got to learn that in that school, girls and boys used to talk so much about relationships and the rest of the things. But for me, I said, it's not my thing. Why? Because I fear that maybe a girl will describe me in a way I do not want. And I didn't want that narrative to come out in a mixed school. So I kept on with life. In my senior 4 in that school, I decided to get a girlfriend. 1 week to my examinations, I got a girlfriend. And then I started moving on life with her. So towards the end of, when that was second term, towards the end of third term, that girl got another catch. And therefore I became, they got another catch and was trying to push me away. So I had a friend who was our go between. She would always coordinate what I text to her some message through the girl, and the girl brings the message. She brings the message from my girlfriend. And then that channel, she was the one mediating that channel. Therefore, things went the wrong way. There was this particular day that the next day was holiday, and I thought maybe because this girl comes from a very far place from where I come from, I was to brief her to give her my contact so that we keep in connection in the holiday. But unfortunately, the girl did not come. She only came past near me and got her food and went back to their dormitory. In her dormitory, she called her friend and harassed her very seriously. I was told by friends in the morning that she was abusing me so badly in the dormitory. She was telling her friend, how could you connect me with such a very ugly boy? How could you connect me with such a broke guy who has nothing? How would you connect me with such a human being? Why do you relate me with people who are of very low class? My class is very different. So when this girl came to tell me this in the morning, she insisted and told me, Ernest, I'm not going to tell you what this girl said. What she said is very horrible. You will break down. I told her, tell me, I'm so strong, I will take it. Anything that this girl will tell me, I will take it. So when they told me about that, I broke down. It touched my heart so much. And it kept reminding me all along my life that I think, why did God create me this way? Why didn't he create me to look like other people? Why didn't he create me to have smaller ears, to have better eyes that people deserve, and the rest of the things? I was more comparing myself with other people and blaming God for not creating me in the best way that people would appreciate. And therefore, this thing affected me. Even when I presented myself to the public, I would always fear to express and speak to people, because what would they see? They would see a monkey before them. So that is what I feared most, to present before the people. So, and all this affected me through my life. But it became a turning point. When this girl finally rejected me, I joined Senior 5, who were in the same school with Sisto. And when I joined Sisto school, I saw a little bit of difference. I saw that students were more civilized, they cared more about things that matter, and they were empathetic. So, and I learned a lot from there. And I went back home in the first holiday, and unfortunately, I did not go back to that school. I went to my former school, where there was a lot of negative narrative about me, because I was so much familiar with friends who accommodate my lifestyle. So there was this one particular day when I really thought of this girl. I called her in the holiday and she rejected my call. She told me she's so busy to talk to me. And then on the process of that, that was the first time I acquired my smartphone. I was looking for relief. I was looking for something that can cool me down. And then I went to YouTube and I looked for a video of Nick Vujicic. And I looked at all his videos, how he was bullied through her when he was a young person because of the way he was born. He doesn't have arms, he doesn't have legs. And then I thought that maybe part of his story, although I don't have arms, I don't have legs, but there is something that, some deformity that people see in me that I think I should have, that resonates with his story. So I learned something from his story that I think started transforming my life. And then I also learned that maybe the best way to attract people to you is to keep improving yourself. I said maybe to be at the level of other people, I must improve myself in a particular way that makes people feel, yeah, I am worthy of something. I started reading books. Even in my A level, with a lot of books that I had, biology, chemistry, and agricultural books that I had. I still read a lot of books. I read Rich Dad. I read Tough Time Last, but Tough Time don't last, but tough people do. I read a lot of books, and these books were really beginning to change my life. I began to see that the power that I have to transform my life is within me. I began to see that other people cannot be a source of my happiness. My happiness comes from within. I began to learn that I should not depend on people's validation over my life. I have a story to write about my life that can change the narrative about everything that people have told about me. And I stopped to compare myself with people, because I learned something, that every person is special in every way. If my mom can tell me I'm as beautiful, or as I'm as handsome as any other boy, it made sense to me. At least I knew that there was that person who had my back. And therefore I decided to also go to my friends, and especially my family members. So, and by then I moved from my village to Kampala. And by then my uncle was the member of parliament. And a little bit that environment was so edifying. They would talk about ideas. They would talk about how people should transform their life from the village mindset into a town, a more civilized type of mindset. And I saw the difference, and I was like, I think this is where I fit. I fit in an environment where people see the value in others, where people tell others the better way of living life. I'm now living in an environment where I'm filled with a lot of positivity. So that environment completely changed my life. I saw that I was a person of more value than I used to think. I only thought to myself that I was living in an environment where people saw the ugly part of me, the bad part of me, they did not see the part of me that I was keeping inside. While they were having all these negative things about me, inside me there was a fire that was telling me that, Ernest, you can do better than all these people tell me. Even if the sound out was so loud, but still something inside was telling me that is not you. What you are beginning to discover is the real you. The more I read books, the more I decided to remove the negative programming in my mind. The more I read those books, the more I learned how life is within the limited scope that I had in mind, or the limited environment that I was in. Because I live in an environment where people are not exposed in terms of reading a lot of things on how people live, and generally many things about life. So I was a step above them by getting to learn more within the short time. So, and I had this programming of, the more I invest in myself and know things and become more self-aware, the less pain I get from what people tell me. So I built myself in such a way that even if now someone abuses me, I'll not get offended like I used to be, because I have discovered myself. The voice that speaks from within me speaks very loudly and speaks the truth about myself. That I got to discover that I would have now changed my name. Now I should change my name from Ayen Ernest back to Odukan Ernest, just to get in touch with my roots. So I got to learn that life was beyond what I knew. There was a life I was yet to discover. But I only learned later on that all these abuses and all this low self-programming that people were trying to bring to my mind only built a foundation for a stronger me. So when I finally graduated, when I went to senior 6, I used to read very many motivational quotes. I used to read books. Even after prep, I would read for 1 more hour. I would not read my academic books, but I would read self-developing books. And therefore, I thought that maybe I should share this knowledge with some people. I saw of a girl who was blind in one eye, and there was a lot of abuse on that girl. And therefore, maybe I thought, if I started writing something about how to change people's mindset, it would one way or the other benefit someone somewhere, or change the mindset of other people. So I started a column on one side of the blackboard, and I used to name it Weekly Wisdom. On this weekly wisdom, I would choose a quote that would fit the situation that I have in mind, and I also see that is consuming the society within which I live, and then keep writing that every day. I write in the arts class, I write in the science class, because I was a science student. So little did I know that this was creating an impact. So very many people came up. Others came with daily wisdom. Others came with very many other titles. And every time we go for our preps, the blackboard was full of quotes and articles that people would read and they would appreciate. So, and therefore it set a tone for a competition. Every time they would say, this week we are choosing the best person with the best quotes. And therefore, in that way, many people would come to me and ask me, Ernest, where are the books you read? And I would give it out to them. Little did I know that this was creating an impact. Many of my friends started doing things that was more edifying than what they were doing before. I saw the difference in how my friends conducted themselves, how they would speak to others, you know. Business, as usual, stopped and people were adapting a more decent type of lifestyle. But I went back and said, I think if I was not abused and I discovered this path, I would have not maybe caused an impact in 1 or 2 lives. So I wasn't any leader at that time, but because of what I was showing, many leaders who were prefects started adapting me into their meetings. They would call me to attend a prefect's meeting and maybe say a word or two. When my friends had birthdays and in school, they would call me and tell me, Ernest, come and give us a word of encouragement, talk to this. It was beginning to surprise me because there was nothing special about me. I was only doing something that was trying to brainwash me from the negative programming that was there when I was a young man. But I started to know that I was beginning to a little bit have a voice to speak something. And then after there was a club in our school by that time that was they were going for awards. They moved the whole school and said, who is the most influential student in school? From every angle, my name was being suggested. I was busy reading, but people were voting for me as the most influential student in school. So when they came to my class, they finally announced that Ernest, on Saturday, that was a Friday evening, you are going to be awarded the most influential student in school. I was asking myself, how, in what way? In which way do I influence students? I only do what I think is transforming me, but I just didn't know that I was speaking to the hearts and minds of the students that were listening to me. So that was how I started brainwashing myself from the old programming that I got as a young on YouTube. As people are going to Facebook and WhatsApp and do the rest of the things, I found YouTube so much interesting because I would get to learn a certain concept that I do not know. Maybe I'll listen to a part of a book that I want to read, but first get an overview about it and see how interesting or does it give me what I want. And therefore I kept that way. When my results came back, I decided to join Bukalasa Agricultural College. So the first day I set my feet there, because I came from a family that was a little bit now getting political. My grandfather was a politician, and then my uncle came as a politician. And therefore, a little bit, the environment was so political. I also got that political mind, I think. So when I came to this new school, I came to apply, and I saw this little bench that was written Bukalasa Guild Body 2018, 2017, 2018, something like that. And I told myself, I think I can be a guild president here. I think I can be a guild president here. But yeah, it was 50-50. I didn't confirm because I was still trying to gather the confidence if I can actually be a guild president. And then when they came in class to choose the course leader, I refused because I knew I was pushing for a bigger dream. So I kept on with self-improvement and the rest of the things, connecting with people that tell me what I want to hear and tell me the fact about myself. Fortunately, there are people who used to really, they were edifying people. They used to tell you things that lift you, stories that can make you boost your self-esteem, but of course, without bringing in ego. And therefore, when the elections came, I was confident enough. And then I took on. Fortunately, the students saw some sense in what I was telling them, and they elected me. I served, in which way I served, but I think I served well. And therefore, after serving well in my institution, I came back to the district to contest as the district youth chairperson. I think because I had served very well at school, even the youth of my district saw a reason to vote for me in the district youth election. I was voted for, and currently I'm serving as the district youth chairperson. And then therefore, the youngest political party in our country, National Unity Platform, you might have heard about someone called Bobby Wine in our past election stand. Therefore, I when I was in school, I introduced myself as a candidate that was running under their ticket, and they gave me their ticket. They sponsored my elections, and I was voted the coordinator. As young as I was, I even thought I would not run a sub-region, but I coordinated my activities very well, and they appreciate my service to them. But all I can say that I discovered in life that what we are looking for is not outside there. What we are looking for in life is within. Most times we try to listen to the stories that are outside our lives, and we lose it because we are going with the opinion of other people. We are going with what they say about us that is not true. They say what they want. They say what should break you down. But from an early age, from that high school, I decided to associate with a good friend of mine with whom we shared very tough stories. It was called Andama. It was called Andama. He was one person who believed so much in me. Even up to now, we connect with him, and then we share our painful moments and our good moments. We share, and I said these are the type of people that I should link up with, and then those are the types of people I carried on, and now because of maybe the type of friends that I wanted to surround myself with, I got to meet better people. I got to meet people that can inspire me beyond what I thought before. The negative energy is no longer there because the negative people cannot fit within the electrified areas of positivity within me. And I am so optimistic of the future now because I know that the power comes from within me. It is either me to decide to go down, because anything I do in life comes from the decision I make. It is not the noise that people bring from outside. My life is made by the choices that I made and the moments that I decide to move on with those choices. So basically, that is how my life has been. And I think very many other people have gone through the time of being bogged down, times of being mocked, maybe judging themselves by how they look, by how many friends they have, by the families they come from, and all those many low levels of judgment. But for me, as a young person, I think that has given me, because of the experiences I went through as a young person, it gave me an opportunity that these days when I get time to talk to my young people, I try to share these stories with them. I try to tell them that there is no one who is special in this world. The people only discover what is within them, and they maximize and they stretch themselves to the limit. And the more you stretch yourself, the more you find that you are limitless. So you go within those boundaries that used to you think used to confine you. So you go to the limit. Before you reach the limit, you realize that there are more other things you discover. The more you stretch yourself, the more you move out of your comfort zone, the more you realize that there is better life that you can live. And when you look back, you only laugh at how things used to bog you down and how useless they used to be. You only laugh, but the most important thing is that you learn lessons from them. You say, wow, they were painful moments, but I think they strengthened me. They made me make a choice that I think to move out of this, I must look at a different angle and then try to see how things move on for me. So for me, and with that background, therefore, anytime these days, I live in a community that people are so much ignorant. I live in a community where people are poor. I live in a community where people are not aware of themselves. So with that painful experience I had in life and the lessons I learned from that, whenever I get an opportunity these days to talk to the young people, even my siblings at home, what I always tell them is to something that motivates them, something that builds on their self-esteem. I do not want kids to grow up when they feel maybe they have a big head, someone maybe has something like this. What I always do is to speak about the good parts they have, to encourage them, to make them optimistic, to make them feel they can do it within themselves. It is only them that can do it for themselves. And therefore, I have made it an habit these days that I must speak positivity. I must be the change that I want to be in my society. As Africans, we know that our environment still wants enough of the people who can inspire. Our environment craves for people who can be positive so that others, we gain a number of people who are positive that can transform the society. So in that way, I think I will make one contribution. I will be that drop in the ocean. And when we make those drops as many as possible, the ocean will be full. And that has been my dedication and my life. I try to pull very many people close to me so that I can share a little bit of the experience of life that I've had. And maybe if there is something meaningful they find from my interaction with them, they will copy something and learn from it. Very positively, very many friends visit me at home and we talk about things, we encourage each other, even when they have problems from relationships to all those problems, we always talk about it. And sometimes they send you messages and tell you, thank you for sharing, this idea was me, I was stuck, I was stressed, but you helped me come out of it. If I had not been in that position before, maybe I would not know the experience of being there. But now that I have been there, I've been in all those many painful experiences, I speak from a point of understanding them maybe to a certain extent, though not all, because I do not claim monopoly of wisdom. So I speak to them with what I know and then encourage them to learn beyond what I have told them or beyond what we have shared. So with a little bit of the experience and the story I've told you, that is what I use to touch the lives of the few people I can talk to, the few colleagues I can connect with. But what I can say is that I have discovered myself. I am very much aware of myself now, that no one can pull me down. I also realized actually while I was growing up as a young man, that not every big person knows what we think they know. Sometimes even as the young people, we know better than they know. That is not to claim that we know everything, but we just need to stop this thing of saying if someone is big, therefore they know everything. Still nowadays, I meet big people who put a lot of negative energy in the young people. And therefore that makes me feel, yeah, the young people should rise up and make the environment so toxic for the negative information and make it so fertile with positive information. That is what we are doing. And I encourage all my colleagues on this platform that with this platform of Think to Prosper, we can start from here. We can start by listening to individual stories from here, and therefore we can add a little flavor to them, and therefore go and see how we can transform the lives of the people in our area. Everyone wants to be loved. Everyone wants to be cared for. No one wants to be criticized. Everyone wants to be praised. Let us take that positive energy to the environment, and you will be shocked that we shall not need big bang solutions to our problems. We only need to praise our people where they do well. We need to correct them politely where they're not doing well. We need to make people feel that they matter. We need to make people feel that they are of value, and therefore that in its sense changes life in a way that you cannot even understand. It makes an impact. That is what now goes into the subconscious mind of someone, and therefore what they do is also in line with what we think the society should be like. And therefore, the more we have positive people in the environment, the more we change our society in a way that will surprise us. Thank you very much, colleagues, for listening to me. I am humbled to be on this platform. I'll always be here to listen to individual stories. Thank you very much. Learn from what is good from my story, and what is bad, kindly don't take it. We all go through experience. So let us learn from the good things and leave the bad ones. My name is Ernest Odukan. Because of this platform I've shared with you, so I adapt my name that I'd left because of low self-esteem. Thank you so much.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so kindly. You know, that's a true story of changing, of taking charge of your own life. I appreciate that so much, because really, you know, other people's opinion, you started off, you talked about other people's opinion and how they just squish you down and cause you to, you know, to have that inferiority complex. And then you had that revelation and beginning to know who you were. You're talking about reading books and deciding that the happiness had to come from within your heart, and you began to attract people to you. It's really a very inspiring story. You know, you began to look within for that change, and that power came from within. And what a great example you are of changing, because you decided to change. That's so important. And that's a message that we need to get out to other people, is that you can change if you want to change. Okay. But it's a consistent thing. How many years did it take you? How old are you now? And when did you start that changing process?
I am 26 years old now. And I started that process when I was in senior 5, and that was 2016.
Okay. So your life, you literally just turned it all around like that, didn't you? You turned your whole life around by your thinking, okay? By taking charge of your thinking, by taking charge. You know, sometimes the people that are closest to us, okay, our friends and the folks that are closest, sometimes they will drag us down rather than lifting us up. You know, hopefully that's not the case, but choosing your friends closely will change your life. You know, surrounding your people. You said, okay, the environment, change your life. You changed the environment you were in, and that changed your life. And so that was so powerful. Thank you. I'm sure we have some questions for you. If you have a question, just unmute yourself there and go ahead and ask Ernest a question, or if you'd like to make a comment.
Yes, thank you so very much, Stanley. Thank you, Ernest, for the words of encouragement. What I really like about you is you just stayed strong. First of all, you need to be a strong person, because very many people out there have been humiliated. Very many people out there have suffered just because, maybe because of their physical appearances, maybe some because they can't perform well in class, some because they are very poor. And I would say that very many people have passed through a lot. And when you share your story, first of all, you feel relieved inside you. You first relieve yourself. And after relieving yourself, then you have that energy to push on, because it is not that it is stopping there. That is just the first step you're taking. So when you take that step, you need to go on and go on and go on. And it doesn't mean that it is stopping there. It doesn't mean that that's all, or that's enough that you're going to face in this world. You're going to face very other many things. So you just need to be stronger and stronger for you to push on day and day. I really used to like what Angela used to tell me way back, that you're your own personal hero. You can be your own hero. So there's no hero for you out there. It is you who is a hero. So for you to be a hero, you just have to be that great person. I like your topic. When you sent me this topic, when you said the greater power is within you. So when you say the greater power is within you, that is just because for you to do anything, Stanley always says the brain thinks in pictures. For you to do anything, you will need to first be you, then you have to picture whatever is outside you. But it is first with you, and then you do the picturing. Whether you need to see something, either your future, or you need to do anything within the class, or you need to do anything within your job or your career, you start with yourself. You first be like, yes, I'm determined and I can now push on. And for you to push on, you need to first take those baby steps of, I can do it, I can make it, I'm my own hero. So for you to be your own hero and for you to make it in life, it will always start with you. And we really appreciate that. I really feel like I'm inspired. I don't know about other people there, but when you really share your story, I've always shared my story. In the beginning, I remember, if you have read the book, Think to Prosper, you can see my testimony there, where I was writing about my first job after university. We just learned from people's testimonies. They will just teach us how to also carry on, because they have been able to carry on. We may not be in the same situation that they are in. We may be in a different one, but we should just be able to know that there are those negative things that are always coming in. So we really appreciate your time, Ernest. I really feel like whatever you talk to us really touched the heart. When you said they used to call you a monkey, I really don't feel like you even look like a monkey. You're just a handsome guy. So, but yeah, of course, negativity is always there. People always talk, but yes, you have to take that step and push on and encourage other people. So I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Leonard.
Thank you, Conrad. We appreciate that so kindly. Somebody else have a comment that they would like to make? Lucky, I see you're unmuted. Would you like to say something?
Ernest, thank you so much. I'm really inspired Personally, when I see you here on a live video with the cheap phones we are using in Uganda, I don't see where a monkey comes from. Really, I don't think there is something that looks like a monkey. Maybe where you are, those girls didn't know how to see or appreciate handsome men. You just come to Kampala, you see what will happen. They may even kidnap you. Anyway, thanks for inspiring. I really appreciate. I'm as old as you are, and we are both trying. Where you are is really good. Keep doing what you're doing. Inspire more. Every day, something you do, you really touch someone. There are very many people out there that you are really inspiring, but you do not know. The moment you try to step down, you are stepping down with those people. When the time comes, you really know, these are very huge number of people that I'm really inspiring. Keep up the spirit. Someday, sometime, I would really wish to visit you there where you are, see how you're doing, see how things are going on. And for Conrad and Mr. Stan, thank you for the book I'm reading. I haven't reached far because every time I read a page, I need to note somewhere. I'm a bit lazy, but lazy people, you know, find the quickest way of doing things. Whenever I do something, I write down to make sure that I'm not seeing. But so far, so good. The book is interesting. My neighbors are reading and everyone else is reading. I'm sorry to be live behind the garden. I visited my friend in his garden. I decided to actually, so I didn't really miss out. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you, Edwin. And I really feel so grateful, I'm sure, to talk about Ernest's story and your story. They are not very far different. Yes, they may be different, but at least you've passed through the same things. You've passed through hard times. Yesterday, I remember I sent Stanley a link to Daily Monitor where you've been published again because you were published in New Vision, you were published in Daily Monitor, and you were hosted on Baba TV. How many people have been on TV? How many people have been in newspapers? This is just a step ahead of us. And yes, you're inspiring very many people out there. People who read those newspapers, people who see you on TV, and you being open to share your mind and what you've passed through. It is just being strong. In the beginning, I used to tell Stanley that him sharing his knowledge, because very many people are ignorant. When Stanley shared his knowledge about the logic die, I really felt touched. Like, this is something like guides you each day. It will just give you steps. Let me say you're stuck somewhere. You just need to know, oh, you mean side 3 of the logic die says this. So what if I now go to Edwin and be like, I want to start drawing pictures. So how do I start? Stanley, if you didn't know, last weekend I had Edwin. We were in it is Devok League, and this is a league for our school. So when we were there, I was so happy to get Edwin's camera and take a few pics. So Edwin taught me how to use a camera. I don't know how to use a camera, but at least I was able to take a few pics. But this is just something that you do today, and tomorrow maybe it takes you somewhere. I'm sure my sister wants to buy a camera at some point, but at least if I know something, I can be the one to teach her. So yes, we just need to keep learning. It may be something small at that time, but it can help you at some point. So thank you, Edwin.
All right, with that, it's 11:04. So we have 11:04 here in Florida. I guess it's 7:04 at night where you're at. We're still in the morning over here. Thank you so much, Ernest. I appreciate it. Charles, thank you for being with us. Cisco, I appreciate it. Eddie Jack, thank you. Teddy, I see that you're on there. John Paul, so thank you guys for everybody being with us. Conrad, share just real quickly what happened at school on Thursday for us.
Yes, to talk about Thursday. On Thursday, we were so happy to visit Asfiwe International Academy. Asfiwe International Academy is found in Chisasi, those who have been to Chisasi before you reach Bahai Road, that is where Asfiwa International Academy is located. We were invited for a careers day. Those who have been to school, most of you know what a careers day is. And so Educational Missions was so honored to be hosted that day. The topic was what you need to do to prepare for your future. So what does someone need to do to prepare for the future? Maybe if I could take you through what someone needs to do to prepare for their future. First of all, you need to plan. Because of time, I'll just read for you maybe in brief what you need to do. So you need to plan, you need to identify your career, then you recognize the changes in environment. Then the other thing is you do not need to over expect from friends. I remember last time when Sister was talking to us, he told us that if I caught his words well, he said the biggest lie that someone can ever tell you is they'll get you a job after school. And I really can tell you that there's no one who's going to get you a job. And the other thing that you should know is you know where you are strong. You need, because for me to employ you, I need to know that at least there's something that you do. So if I ask you what is your passion or what are you passionate about, if you tell me you are a web designer, then I will know that at least you can do websites. So I won't employ you if I need someone to clean or if I need someone to be an accountant. So I will need for an accountant rather than a web designer. So if you know where you're strong, where your strength is, because I would say I'm a web and graphics designer, but it doesn't stop there. I have other things that I can do, but at least I can say I'm strong in websites and graphics. I can try to build other things, but at least that is where my strength is. So that is the other thing that you should know when you're preparing for your future. Then there is that art of saving. You need to improve the art of saving. We were able to talk to students at Asfiwa International School, and then we gave them guidance. Stanley had a video that he had recorded that is already on our YouTube channel. You can go on our YouTube and you'll be able to see the video that Stanley recorded. It talks about side 1, side 2, and side 3 of the logic die. And of course, for you to talk about side 1, 2, 3, you will need to talk about side 6 because you're always focusing on doing your best. And for you to do your best, that is our side 6. So you can visit our YouTube channel and you'll be able to see that video that we had prepared for Asfiwa International School. But all in all, it was really a very good presentation. We enjoyed it. And yes, we are already receiving testimonies. Teddy is supposed to give me a video either today or tomorrow, but I expect a video from her that is coming to from one of the students from Asfiwa International Academy. And someone is talking about what they were able to learn that day. And we also left them with about 100 books. So very many people are reading books and we expect to get other testimonies from them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. At this point, we probably need to say goodbye. It's getting late here for some of y'all. So thank y'all so very much for being here. I appreciate being able to see each and every one of you next week. We look forward to next week.
Thank you very much, colleague. Thank you for giving in your time. Thank you, Conrad, for giving me this opportunity on the platform. I want to thank Mr. Stan for being always with us, for giving us this platform to make wisdom go viral or make our stories get known to the world. We are very glad. We don't take this for granted. I only pray that maybe such initiatives are extended to places like ours so that we get an opportunity to share some of the things they are sharing with schools in these areas that we are in. We desperately need those services to talk to the young people. We know that we need to give them information to build them, to transform their lives, and we'll appreciate if some arrangement is made for that. But to conclude, members, I will tell you that sometimes all you have is the broken pieces that you have in your life, but you do not know what beautiful things can come from your beautiful broken pieces. Give yourself a chance to do it again. You are on the driver's seat of your life, and it is you to do it, and you can only do it now and today. You should have done it yesterday, but today is not too late. Never make it for tomorrow. Let's start it today, and let's hold hands with very many other many young people. stand to you. Thank you very much for this platform. As young Africans who look towards changing this continent, we appreciate this so much. We want to put our effort so that our generations to come will appreciate that we started it now. Africa needs this, and we shall commit ourselves in building a young Africa that is focused to transform this continent, that will not be described in words of Afro-pessimists. We are optimistic that this continent will realize its potential, and we are the ones to do it, and we shall do it today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very kindly. You know, this platform does belong to y'all, okay? And it's just, you know, the more that we can expand it and cause it to grow, and we will get these videos out to more and more people as we prepare them and share them. And this is the things that people need to hear, okay? They need to hear that they can do it, okay? Because you set the example, okay? And each one of you here have set the example for your fellow, you know, Ugandans and people, you know, all through the world, really. So thank you so very much. And Teddy, I see you're unmuted.
Oh yeah, I think Colonel shared what I was supposed to share. My network got, disturbed. But everyone was really excited and they were glad to have us, and would like to say thank you. And as long as we're still here, we're going to work together and make a difference in these people's lives and in our lives as well. Yes.
Excellent, excellent. I'm looking for us to do a good follow-up on that. Well, guys, we'll see y'all later. Thank you so very much. Conrad, anytime you need to communicate, make sure you send Conrad a note there, and we'll make sure we get done whatever we need to get done, okay? Thanks, guys.
Thank you,
Eddie
Stanley.
Jackis.
Thank you, everyone, for making this today. We'll just have to say it is a blessed day to Stanley, and a good night to all Ugandans out there. Thank you.
Thank you.